we've decided to make something that's really interesting, something that you can make for Heritage Day. Roosterkoek with sirloin and homemade chakalaka. And you combine that all together in like a burger type of effect, and you munch it. Something very unique, something different you can try. We discovered this Gideon's Milling stone ground white bread wheat flour. So we're going to give this a go. This is a kilogram. We're going to take 500 grams. Once again, you can just measure it like this. Then we put in a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar. We put in white sugar. This also helps activate the yeast. And we've got some yeast. We've got 11 grams of yeast. Get that opened with some difficulty. There we go. Spread that out. So just give that a mix through so that it incorporates into the flour. And here we have 300 mils of lukewarm water. Get that in. Yeah, there we go. And just mix that in with your fork. Okay, once it starts forming together, sticking together like that, you can take it off the fork. Just get it stuck in there a little bit. Now start kneading it. If you need a bit more flour, just for the surface so you can see it sticking a bit. Let's get that floured up. There we go. All right. Now we want to knead this for around about 10 minutes till it becomes smooth. Great, now you can see it's become nice and smooth. Yeah, look at that. That's the consistency you want. Great. Now take a bit of olive oil, put it in your bowl. I'd say around about a teaspoon. Just mix it around there so that you can get the dough out easier. Put it in there, put your kitchen cloth on, and let it sit like that for around about 5 to 10 minutes. And after that time, you should have dough that's double in size. Okay, let's get stuck into making the chakalaka. So while the fire is going, you can see our dough has really risen to the occasion. Look at that. That's gorgeous, eh? I think it's ready. So let's get it out here. This is our tray. We're going to put the little ball rows on, and we should have a floured surface. So give me a second to get the flour. So flour the surface. Let's get that dough out in there. Wow, that's really risen nicely. Okay, so let's take this dough, and we're going to get about 10 balls out of this. So let's see what they look like. All right, so on your floured surface, just cup your hands like that. Roll them into a ball. Great, and once they form that shape, take your board, flour that surface as well, and then let's just squish them down into about a centimeter, right? Yeah, that's about a centimeter, I would say. Stretch them and flatten them out a little bit, because they will rise again after this. We'll leave them to rise, and once literally they've doubled in size, they're onto the fire. over low and slow coals. Great, so you can see my tray was only big enough for 9, but the other one's in the kitchen. It will definitely get made. So let's put a tea towel over this and let them proof for another 20 minutes. While this is going, we're going to get stuck into the chakalaka. So chakalaka is a traditional South African dish, really, used to enhance flavors. So you have it with pap. That's the traditional way, because pap is quite a neutral flavor, and so you take this spicy mixture of vegetables, and it's a hearty meal. You can have it just like that, or you can have it today in those Roosterkooks that we're going to try. All right, let's get chopping with 2 onions. All right, let's get that into the pot. To the pot, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we can add our onions. All right, so generally what I do is I add the harder vegetables first, because obviously they take a little bit longer to cook, or to fry in this case. Carrots for the birds. We'll give that to them later. So this you also want to chop quite fine. So I like different variations and different forms. You want a little bit of chunkiness to your chakalaka, but you also want some vegetables that are going to be a little bit finely grated. So we're going to chop that. And perhaps the other 2 we're going to grate. Get that in there. Just mix that in there. Okay, half a cabbage. And with these, you don't want to leave them in long strips, right? That's too long, so just turn it this way and just chop them again. Next, we're going to do a pepper, a green pepper. Let's just chop that into small blocks. And 1 red pepper, also chopped into blocks. Okay, let's get that added to the pot. Give that a stir. Oh, it's coming together now. The veggies are frying nicely. Let's get some chili in. So seeds and all, chakalaka is a spicy dish, so you do want a bit of heat. Otherwise it's not a true authentic chakalaka. So 1 chili. Okay, we're going to add 2 tomatoes. Okay, let's get the tomato in there. It's looking good, but now we're going to add the spices. We've got some smoked paprika. We're going to put in 1 teaspoon of that, and this must be smoked paprika. Okay, 2 teaspoons, because smoked paprika gives it that lovely smoky flavor. About a teaspoon, no, half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, teaspoon of thyme, about a teaspoon of salt, and the same with black pepper. And we've got some medium curry powder, and here we're going to put in a tablespoon. Correction, 2 tablespoons. And here we have some lovely spice that we got by a Indian shop that sells lovely spices. This is a nice hot spice. I'm going to put in all of that. You can see the chili flakes, the nice red spice. That's going to give it a lovely flavor. And we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of garlic, already crushed garlic. Okay, that's about right. Let's add the baked beans. This is just a 250 ml tin of baked beans, juice and all. And next we'll add in some whole kernels, sweet corn in brine, and the brine we can discard off. Okay, I can get that in there. Wonderful. And we add around about 100 ml of water. And last but not least, we add in 25 grams of tomato paste. That's it. That'll give it a nice tartness. And there we go. Let's stir that in. Ah, look how hearty that looks. You know that that's going to be good. Put the lid on and forget about it for 25 minutes. Let's get stuck into making the Roosterkoek. Okay, we've left these for around about 15 minutes. They've now proved very, very nicely. Look at that. So we're going to get these on a separate fire that we've made because the Chakalaka is going on our small smoke buddy, and these must go low and slow, and you must turn them every now and then until they got a lovely golden color. And when you tap them, they go, they make that sound, and when that sound is reached, you know they're done. So let's get these on. You also want a bit of char on these. It gives it that nice, deep, rich flavor, that nice chariness. So take a look at that. Okay, let's go make that steak. Now that we've got the Chakalaka done and the Braai broodjies done, we're ready to tackle these guys. Beautiful sirloin steaks. We're just going to dribble a little bit of olive oil on, just so they don't stick on the grid. And then to put some pepper on and quite a bit of salt. Steaks take more salt than what you think, and some of it falls off while you are putting it on the braai. And these really don't take long. You want it medium, medium rare, depending on your preference. Get the sides done as well. There we go, let's get them on. Oh, yes, the sizzle. Oh, look at that char on the meat, looking fantastic. Woo! Look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh, that's what you want on a steak. Gorgeous. Another 2 minutes on that side and you can take it off to rest. think they are charred on each side beautifully. Look at that. That is perfection. Let's get them in there. Yes, look at that. And now, the most important part, let these suckers rest. If you're not going to let them rest and cut them right out now, that beautiful juice is just going to seep all out. So, I don't have tinfoil at the moment, but nothing wrong with a plate, just like that. So we are done with the steak. It's rested for a good 5 minutes. Look at that. You can see all the sauces come out over there. All the juices, rather. Let's get stuck in there. We are going to cut it nice and thin. You don't want chunky steak in your Roosterkoek. So let's cut it nice and thin. Cut at a slant like that. Nice and thin. There we go. As you can see, it's still nice and tender, juicy. Oh yes, it's done perfectly. And I didn't actually let you hear, but when we took it off, you can hear. That's the way it must sound. All right. So, bottom half, get that on there. It's probably a bit too much steak, but I like steak, so the more the merrier. And then look at our lovely Chakalaka. So don't be shy with the Chakalaka. Look at that. Oh man. Oh no. This is too good. This is too good to be true. Look at that. Goodness me. And give it a topping, just like that. Now, how about that? Something different for Heritage Day, for Braai Day. No one's gonna make this, and you're gonna be the first person to make this. Something so different and something so lekker. Let's get in there. Okay, that was very hot. That Chakalaka. Not only was it steaming hot, it's also quite punchy. Quite a lot of burn, but not too much. I like my Chakalaka just like it's made right now. The steak is tender. The Roosterkoek is crispy, smoky, spongy. Only the way a Roosterkoek can taste. The heat from the spicy curry is coming through my nose. Those green chilies that we added to it, coming through. Okay, this is really good. Something different, something amazing. And you get bits of steak as well. So burger Chakalaka, steak, thingamajig. It's really fantastic. I can recommend this. If you like this type of thing, please subscribe and follow Travel, Trails and Tastes. Cheers to the next one.